Hey there. You have lots of choices. I have lots of choices. I had some choices on Friday. I was on an airplane and I'm sitting in my seat and I had a connection. So I had flown out to Colorado, 2 flights. I'm flying home from Colorado, 2 flights. I'm on the first of the 2 flights. It's 3.5 hours long. And the person sitting in front of me I didn't notice was exceptionally large. And when he got up, I realized he wasn't very large. But he sat down in his seat with such a heaviness, like a frustration and exasperation, that the whole seat, even though he wasn't leaning back, was pushed back, and he was turning and readjusting the whole whole time the plane is loading, and he's readjusting, and I'm sitting there, and it's kind of like when everything in front of your face is shifting and moving. It's a little alarming. And so I'm sitting there, and the plane takes off, and we get to 10,000 feet, and he hits the little button, and back comes his seat. But it doesn't just come back; it comes back further than I think the seat is supposed to come back these days. And he's adjusting. And for a good 3.5 hours, that seat was in constant motion. And I had the tray table out for part of it. You get a beverage and stuff, and it's moving, and it's bobbing and weaving. And I get a little frustrated with it. And I tell myself, no, it's fine. You're good. And I'm reading a book, and I'm on my iPad, and I'm reading along, and I'm still this seat is just moving all over the place, and the plane lands, and I always jump up pretty quickly to stretch my legs, but sometimes I'll sit back down. If the people around me have bags, I usually just have the thing under my seat. I don't have to jump in the overhead. So I like to stand in the aisle, but if there's other people around, I'll sit down. But this time, as I stood up, the person next to me slid over to get ready to get up, so I couldn't go back down. And there's a guy coming behind me, and he says, "Excuse me, I really have a tight connection. Would it be okay if I step on?" And he'd gone through a few people. He gets to me. He goes in front of me, and he gets to the guy in front of me who's standing there and is clearly frustrated. And the guy says, "Can I get past you? I have a tight connection." He goes, "Well, so do I." And he's talking on the phone, and he's arguing with somebody about his connection is wrong and everything. And your instinct, when you see somebody who's a little less polite, who's not been too considerate on the plane, is to go to, "Well, I hope he misses his connection. I hope he's got a rush," that kind of thing. And I wanted to go there. And I just kind of said, "Well, I don't wish him any harm." And as I just kind of felt the amusement of it, and there was some amusement in all of that, and didn't get annoyed at the obnoxiousness of it all, and realized this guy, I don't know what he encountered on his way to the airport. I don't know what he encountered when he sat down on the plane. I don't know what he's going through in his life. And I started to feel bad for him. And all that tossing and turning, something was bothering the guy. And that desperation with which he sat down, and he was holding his ground in the aisle, and he wasn't going to let anybody pass. And my thoughts changed from recognizing the obnoxiousness to really beginning to wonder, where does that come from? And that choice, he didn't know that I thought he was obnoxious, and then he didn't know I felt bad for him. That change didn't affect him one iota, but that change gave me peace. That change changed my experience for the day. And instead of walking out of the airport going anything negative, I was just filled with compassion at that moment. That changed how I got home. That changed the ride from the airport. That changed when somebody said, "How was your flight?" It changed the whole thing. And it changed for me. When you make that shift, it may or may not impact the other person. But the way you think impacts you. So be careful with those thoughts. Have some awareness of what you're thinking. I hope this helps. Have a great great, great day.